My previous video showed my HomeLink setup. New Teslas do not come with HomeLink standard, so many may not have HomeLink and some may not want to spend $300 on this option. This is one solution that does not involve using the clunky remote controls and instead uses the Tesla browser. This is called EVE for Tesla. EVE stands for Evolved Vehicle Environments. EVE for Tesla is a dashboard app available on the Tesla web browser. It has two types of memberships, free and premium. Free allows a few apps to be used with the dashboard, while most of these are kind of basic and available on any smartphone. For example, the weather app, Flickr Photos, World Clock, News Feed, Notes, and Calculator. One interesting app is the EVE Streets app, which gives a panoramic view of buildings surrounding a particular address. It also has a mileage tracker app, which seems to let you track expenses on a trip, for example, tolls and parking. Another free app coming soon is Places, which lists restaurants, shops, hotels, and other sites near your destination. The other membership is Premium. This requires a $4.99 a month fee. If you subscribe for the annual plan, the price drops down to $3.99 a month. This gives you access to the premium apps and early access to new apps, premium functionality on select apps, and premium dashboard features. The notable premium apps are Calendar, Email for IMAP, Gmail, and Exchange, Twitter, and Stocks. The most important feature is EVE Connect. This allows the car to interact with smart devices in your home. What I recommend is the premium membership for those Tesla owners that do not have the HomeLink option on their car. EVE for Tesla gives you the ability to operate your garage door opener from the car on the screen. Be aware the garage door opener needs to be smart, compatible with MyQ. EVE Connect works with these 6 platforms. I also would like to see them add Apple HomeKit, Google, and Amazon Alexa to the system. Now let's see how the free version works in the car. Please use this link shown here if you have a Model 3 or Model Y. The default dashboard is for the Model S and X and doesn't work as well since those screens are portrait versus landscape. This warning screen doesn't apply to the Model 3 or Model Y. After you type in the teslaapps.net link, you are greeted with a blank dashboard. But in this case, I already created a dashboard with 2 parts, a weather app on the left side and a photos app on the right side. If you click the gear icon in the top center of the screen, you are now in the dashboard menu. I'll cover that more later in the video. You can delete apps by pressing the X icon in the upper right of the app. Then you can replace it with another app. Press the plus button to bring up the app selection screen. Let's also choose the EVE Streets app. For some reason, the keyboard doesn't come up when you need to enter the address. I noticed a few bugs with these apps. Maybe it has something to do with them being designed for the Model S and X and not for the Model 3 and Y. Let's add the clock app. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can make any modifications to the clock. There's a little note that says you can change clock settings when it's in full screen mode, but it still wouldn't work when I did that. When I press on the EVE Connect button, it says that I need to have the premium package. Let's test out the Notes app. As you can see here, the keyboard comes up and works as normal. There are several icons on the top row of the menu here. The first one is the microphone. If you have the app installed on your phone, it appears that you can do more voice control features. The lock icon logs you out of the system. And here I have to log back in with my email address and password. As you can see, it starts up using the last dashboard setup that you were using when you logged off. The exclamation icon shows any current notifications. The house icon brings up the Eve Connect app. The Eve Connect setup process in the car does not seem to be working at this time. This next icon brings up the app grid. Pressing the time doesn't seem to do anything, but when you press the temperature, it brings up the weather app full screen. Let's go into more detail with the setup screen. You can create multiple dashboards with different settings. For example, I'll set up a second dashboard here. Here you can pick the different ways that apps can be displayed on the screen. Take note that only the first two are really the only ones that are effective on the Model 3 and Model Y because of the landscape display. You can have different apps saved to each one of these templates and bring them up as you need them. If you press the settings button right below dashboard, you can see that you can adjust your home location, pick background colors, and change the time, as well as metric versus imperial units. You can also switch between day and night mode and also make it automatic if you so choose. Profile button shows your profile information and address. Feedback allows you to leave comments to the developers if you see any bugs or improvements. I'm going to test out some more of the apps. First up, we have Calculator and the Fireplace app. RSS stands for Really Simple Signification and is an old school throwback. Think of it as text files with simple information, news, articles, etc. Basically an older version of Twitter. Let's create another dashboard. This time we'll select the second option, which is just one large app. The apps have slightly different configurations when they're in full screen mode. Oddly, there seems to be no way to edit the calendar. When you press on the numbers, it doesn't do anything. Pressing on the Stocks app shows that it's only included with Premium. Here's another look at the Notes app, this time in full screen mode. And for the last of the apps, let's see what the Fireplace looks like in full screen mode. And that's it for the free version. So for the sake of testing the real reason to use Eve for Tesla, I bought a 1-month membership and we'll show you what it looks like. The first premium app is the Stocks Tracker. It's not off to a good start. The Stocks app doesn't seem to work. The keyboard doesn't come up for you to enter stock symbols or names. Next, let's try the mileage tracker. Enter the starting odometer reading. Then I suppose you can add some additional things like it shows expenses and so on, and then I guess when you're done you press the complete trip button. Next we'll try the Eve Streets app. You're supposed to enter the address that you want to see, and like the Stocks app, it doesn't bring up the keyboard, so it is kind of useless. Next up is the email application. You can see here that it supports the major email companies, as well as entering it manually. Now let's try Eve Connect. I'll press the button for setup instructions, and I end up with a blank screen. For some reason, I couldn't get any further, and I had to do the install setup on my home computer. So I went on to the Eve for Tesla website and logged in. This webpage shows a whole bunch of different setup and options that you can go through. First, I'm going to click on Set up my devices. On the list, find My Queue and then press the corresponding setup button. You need to do two things. You need to first authenticate on My Queue and then subscribe to My Queue. Click on the first button to authenticate. Enter your My Queue email and password, and then press authenticate. Now click the button that says subscribe to My Queue. Enter in the same email and password as you did in the previous step. Click on the subscribe button. Then click on the Return to Eve for Tesla button. If everything works out well, you should see the My Queue authenticated towards the bottom of the screen. Click on the Back to Home Automation button. Now it shows that the My Queue is location active. Click on the Set Home Location on the top of the screen, and then type in your home address. This will eventually be used by the car's GPS to open and close the garage door at some point. Then press the Confirm Your Home Location button on the bottom, and then it should say that it's saved. Press the Setup Automation button on the top of the screen. This gives you some options for these three commands: leaving home, on the way home, and arriving home. You can set the distance from where this command should function. This drop-down box shows you some of the distances. And then under the My Queue shortcut, choose which option you want to use. For example, if you're leaving home, you'll have the close the garage door. For the middle on the way home, I left that one blank. And for the arriving home, use the open garage door option. As of the time of my testing, these automations are not currently working. I'm guessing at some point they will combine them with the GPS and be able to do automatic opening and closing. Let's go back into the car and we can see that the Eve Connect now has 4 buttons. From top to bottom it has leaving home, arriving home, close door, and open door. In its current state, the leaving home button is the same as the closing door button, and the arriving home button is the same as the open door button. For our first test, let's press the close garage door button. The lights on the garage door opener will flash, and then after a few seconds the door closes. When the operation is complete, it'll give you an update and a status. For example, it says it was completed successfully with the date and time. I'm going to reverse down the driveway and then do the second test. By the way, I'm going to be turning off the HomeLink automatic opening and closing that are built into the Tesla. Next, I'm going to press the arriving home button and then confirm. There's a little bit of a delay because the garage door opener flashes its lights a few times to let anybody know that the door will be closing. During this time, the door will actually be opening. By the time I got up to the driveway, it was completely open. To show you that the leaving home button and the close garage door button are the same, let me press that one. And within a few seconds, the door begins to close. And this is what it looks like in full screen mode. If you click on this icon, it will remove the status button and leave you with the 4 main buttons. How does it work at a distance? I'm about 3 miles from my house, and let's bring up the menu. In the time that I shot the last part of the video, another button has been added. I'll press the notification button to get the current status on the garage door. It says that it is closed. Now I'm going to press the on the way home button. Then press confirm. So within 20 seconds, the door is now open. And since I'm not home, let's close the door. And now it is closed. I did have one weird bug occur. The next day after the installation, it seemed to forget my linking of the MyQ subscription. So once I deleted and reset it, it worked fine. I haven't had any other issues during the past 2 weeks. To be honest, I wasn't very impressed with customer service. I sent an email asking how to fix the problem before I figured it out myself, and I hadn't heard back from them during the last 2 weeks. So in conclusion, Eve for Tesla appears like a beta product. The apps for the most part are kind of basic, some don't even work on the Model 3. The main reason to use this is for the Eve Connect app, which seems like a fine alternative to using the HomeLink option. One positive it has over HomeLink is that it gives you a status of the garage door, whether it's open or closed, and also the duration. A negative is that it doesn't automatically open or close the door like the HomeLink does at a preset distance. There's no reason that they can't program this feature to be working at a certain point in the future. If you're interested, I have the link for Eve for Tesla in the video description below. Also, if you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.